questions in the comments. I do read them very religiously. I answer what I can. I'm going to get better at answering these. I think things are going to slow up. One of you guys asked, hey, does the 300 series saws have the same intake problems? Well, not the exact same. They are slightly different. So let's get into that. This is the 372 carb in intake. It's rubber held on by a clamp. Okay. Their biggest problem was this piece here. That holds your throttle line, your throttle cable right there. And it bolts to your carb like that. And then you can see that, well, I got this on backwards. Let me change that around. Haven't done a 372 in a while, have we? We got a good one coming up. Got a real good one. As soon as we get a few of these other, I gotta get these 4 saws out of my hair. And then we got that 660 Blue Thunder. We gotta get back into that. It's got a little work left. Finish it up. And then we're gonna show that one in a series of videos, which I haven't put any of them up yet. But we will. And so anyways, this is the way the 372 worked. And here's what the problem is. Now you got that rubber gasket surface. It has a little metal ring that goes in there. You can see a little spot there for it where it's recessed. That's to keep it from collapsing, to maintain the shape. And it bolts on just like this. I'm going to show it to you upside down. Right there. Maybe I ought to show you the right way. Then it'll make more sense to you. The throttle cable comes up right through this, right up around the cam, and then the ball fastens here. Okay, that's torsional flex constantly on this plastic piece. And then many heating and cooling cycles, what happens after a while, this plastic, because it has a bolt hole here and a bolt hole here, it'll start leaking top or bottom right here, okay? It's just nature of the beast. It just moves, and then you get a leak. So 372s, 390s, any of them with this, they will eventually leak. I will promise you that. It might take a long time. Now, Farmer Tech, Hudso Farmer Tech, Hudso Pharma, whatever you want to call it, makes this piece in aluminum. That's the best part of that saw. I use them religiously, okay? I really like using them. I happen to be out of them right now, which I'm surprised. I'm glad we did this because I want to put one on the 372 that we're going to be building here fairly rapidly. In another couple weeks, we'll start it. We're going to build probably 2 or 3 right in a row of them 372. So we've been doing a series of the 272 stuff, 61, 66, 268. We're going to get back into them, and I'll tell you why. Adam Fox, we got a saw here for him. He's out in California. A great guy, Adam is. Say hello to him in the comments when you see him. He's getting one. Bill Block's going to get one. And another individual, it's a surprise, is getting another one.
Spin the wheel.
Yep, spin the wheel. Okay, so anyways, Hudso Pharma, Hudso Farmer Tech, that's where you get these. In aluminum. They don't distort, and they do stay sealed, okay? That's something I guarantee you that. And so, yeah, that's not the only ones. All saws, periodically, can get intake leaks, okay? It doesn't take much sometimes. I have less problems with the steels in that area than I do the other saws, and like Husqvarna. They seem to be the most problematic. I run a lot of steels myself in the past and still do. Obviously, I like steels. But I'll tell you what, like the Husqvarna 372 and the 272 is the most blowed up saw in the world. Now that ain't because it's a bad saw. There's millions of them used by professional loggers and tree men. You guys out there know that. So, because of the sheer numbers built and out there in service for 10, 15 years, 20 years, yeah, they finally come apart. Well, it's guys like me that end up with the carcasses. Is what happens is, somebody, a local guy, what they do is they, like, hey, can you fix this? Like, it just shakes and rattles and something falls on the floor. You weren't sure what it even was. It's like, gee, I think this one's done. And so you go through and you build them. Well, that's what I want. So you scarf through your parts and order what you don't have and you build one. And then you end up with what's left. Well, after many, many years and decades of that, you end up with a whole room full of boxes of nothing but parts for Husqvarna. I don't get many Steels back. Steels are like Harley Davidsons, I think. The guys that love the Harleys, they don't sell them. And if they do, you don't want it. There's a reason they sold it. Well, other than divorce, that would do it.
That'll get you.
That'll get you every time. Okay, now let's get back to what we's doing here. Colin, if you'd be so kind to put these two parts in that container over there.
The garbage container?
Not the garbage. That container there. Right there. There you go. Okay, then I know where that stuff is.
I found it.
Okay. Because of the nature of the beast with this saw, a hogans 266, you guys already know. If you figured it out, I'll tell you anyway. It's got a 272 top end. It's what's available. I share that with you because, number one, we don't have a darn thing to hide here. If you ask a question, I'll give you a straight answer. I'll tell you straight out what the deal is. Some things I prefer not to show, only because I don't want to get entry-level guys in trouble because they can't quite do this one thing. I want to show everything you can do right in your own shop with a lowly little Dremel and a 1495 degree wheel. This is what you need. It takes nothing much to do this work. Okay, we're out of the box, way over the top on this cylinder. And I'll tell you right now, and I'll tell you why. With the 390 carb on a 272, I don't want to be saddled with too much carb. But I didn't dare do a few things because I was lacking two important items. Number one, I need an excellent exhaust. Something that really pulls air. It's not noise. It pulls air. It does something. It works. If you can't pull air out, you can't get air in. This is the name of the game. Now, we just sat here, Colin and I did, and there was a couple things said just talking that I wanted to share with you. I'll tell you what, this is the important one. When you see the work that's done to these saws and see how the transfers and where they're lined up to your exhaust in relationship to your intake, okay, you can look at it, you can work it out in your head by going up and down slow. Flow happens rapidly, beyond belief, beyond more than you'd ever believe. It has to happen so fast you couldn't even see it. 230 times a second.
233.3.
Yeah, he had to get right down to exact, didn't he?
A second.
A second. That piston changes directions. That little bugger. So they got to be strong. But I want you to think about air going up and down them transfers 233 times a second.
At 14,000.
That's 14,000 RPMs. In and out the exhaust. That is nuts, isn't it? So, use flow characteristics and something running 4,000 is way different than 14,000. So you got to wrap your head around that one. Now, I was sitting here trying to show you what I was doing here, and I may or may not be able to because I'm not that good at this camera thing yet, but I'm getting better. I can see that. Okay, Kenzie had asked me a long time ago, and I kind of evaded the question. But I'm going to show you because I found a safe way to explain this. We know in these types of cylinders where your transfers are on the inside of the cylinder. You know, they're not quad loop on the outside, these are closed. That the air goes in these holes, okay? As the piston comes down into the bore, it shoves air through these holes. That's after the intake stroke. And it goes up the transfers. Nice big shot air. 233 times a second. And then the piston closes the transfer, evacuates the exhaust. A little air comes back in from the exhaust. That's why you can't have exhaust leaks. It's because you can suck fresh air instead of the unburned fuel air charge. Your goal when you're doing this is to try to get all of your exhaust gases out by shoving the rest of it out that don't go out naturally with your intake charge. So part of your intake charge goes out your pipe. It becomes more pressure in the muffler than there is in the cylinder, and you get a bounce back. There is a point that you can build compression if you know how to do that. I know we've had people in the past argue, oh, no, it don't work like that. You can't build more compression at RPM on a two-stroke. Yeah, they do. All of them do. Every motor does. And RPMs build more compression. But you got something wrong. So those of you that think that's wrong, get your head out of your butt. Start thinking about it. Quit arguing. Those of you who want to argue, leave. We don't put up with that here, do we?
We like opinions, though.
We like the opinions. Yeah. Oh, I love the opinions. And that's what matters. Healthy debate. Healthy. Okay. So, Kenzie had asked me, well, gee, Harv, what if you open these holes up? Okay. Now, first thing is realize this is highway. It's right there in league with in the aftermarket of some of the better stuff. I do use a lot of highway, and I am in the saw, but it isn't all perfect. When you see the inside of the piston, you see all the rough and all the edges. See all the edges there around the skirt and sharp points, all the way around. And then if I can get you in there, you can see I'm going to find a way to do this better for you. Okay, maybe this will work. Okay, so we got in this area right here, that ridge, that's a stress riser. Okay, anywhere where you see a seam is a stress riser. Okay, you have it because it's machined right here. That's a stress riser. Any place where you got a sharp edge is a place where a crack can develop. Right here on the seam, that seam. Okay, on the inside, let that get refocused. Right in here, right up the side of that, right up here in the top of that. Okay, that's all places that something can be done about. Okay, here is the finished piston. Okay, I have blended that in. Be very careful. I'm not telling you this is a good idea. If you take too much material, you will weaken this. Okay, but you just see that we've took all of the sharp edges away. We've beveled our corners. Okay, on the inside, We've took them stress risers out here and here. The casting mark basically is what that is. Same thing here. Now we have made them just because of cleaning this up. Here, here, right around here, in the bottom of this, I'll turn it over. Just because of cleaning these areas up, what we've ended up is bigger windows. I don't know if you can see it with the eye. You probably would have to measure it. I could measure them for you, but trying to get them side by side on a camera is like cutting your own hair. But you can easily see that, boy, I tell you, there is a difference. There really is. Now, it's important to understand that when this piston is going down, there's air in here. Okay, you see that bar right there? Don't take that one out or that one. Or that one. Do not. That is strength right in there. I did not want to clean the bottom of this up because I would rather the air is forced into this area, into this cavity, and forced out these windows. So the first thing you have to do is get them areas cleaned up. Can you push that further? Yeah. Don't. Not. If you want to play, you want to get dead serious, you have to start pushing that. That's as far as I was willing to do this one. That's as far. And I'll tell you why. Now, as we talked in yesterday's video, the transfers block from here to here is all it's open. This area to here is covered. And from here to here is covered. Should have used that point right there. Okay, from here to here was covered. From here to here was covered. That's about 2/3, maybe half. Okay. Now see the length? We've gained slightly on that length. So at bottom dead center, I want that to be able to flow as much air up them transfers. Think 233 times a minute. This is happening. A second. This is going rapidly. A second. That's a major force of air. It's not a little tiny puff like people think. It's fast air. It's real fast air. So this, hopefully, now I pray that I can make this happen for you so you can see. So I gotta get my little light out, and you bear with me because I want you to see in this particular saw. And now don't do this at home, children, until you know this one works. Because I'm going to tell you, we're into a big darn gray area. And let me get this light. Okay, see that marked out square? That's the size I'm going. I'm trying to get that. You can see down there. That's all you got. That marked opening is how wide the windows are in the piston. So you get an idea how much is being blocked. Colin, would you mind turning that right around in front of me? Okay. There's a finished one. That's the full window, guys. Okay. Now turn that a quarter return. Okay. Right there, you can see on the exhaust side, the relationship of how wide the window is to the exhaust. Now turn it again. More. And the relationship, the one I've cut, is to the intake. It's fairly close, see? You see, factory, there's quite a little distance there. When I'm done with it, there ain't a lot. Okay? I hope that helps you see what I'm thinking. Okay? Like I said, we're way out of comfortable space right here on this. Don't try this until you see the saw run. We know in theory this works because we've upgraded the carb, the exhaust, and this is what's left. Treat this, the transfer, like I'm doing, like your racing intake manifold, okay? You got your headers on because you got a great pipe. You got your big carburetor. You got your camshaft because your camshaft is your intake and exhaust and transfer timing. Camshafts, the reason they work is because they have altered exhaust intake timing, more lift and everything. Okay, so more lift equals more air. Okay, we have a raise and compression from two things. We have a pop-up or dome, whatever you want to call it. I call them dome, piston. We have taken the gasket out, the base gasket. You gain 22 thousandths there. Okay, I do that on a lot of saws. It corrects an intake timing issue, but it's negative to the exhaust. So the exhaust is easy. You just raise the roof of your exhaust and you can correct it or you can go beyond that. You pick the numbers. I think it's time we did another video on using a degree wheel and coming up with the numbers, don't you guys? Yeah, we're going to do that here soon. So, incidentally, there was another thing I wanted you to know, because this has cropped up several times in the comments. The people get used to doing this. I use the electronic solder. This is the one that I did on this cylinder. All you do is put your cover back on, get your piston in there, get cylinder bolted down, dry, no sealer, and you just stick your solder in the hole. You got to put a bend in it like this, kind of, and you get it in there. Make sure your piston is the bottom dead center. You get it where it touches that wall. I just let it droop like that. See? Now that's on the saw, obviously. You wheel that. You want to wheel that about 4 or 5 times, and I'll tell you why. You want to get that to compress that solder all the way. There's very low memory, but there's a little. So you end up being accurate with your squish. Now, if you get your squishes wide open, I just check it over exhaust roof. But when you start getting where you're getting tight squish, check it in 4 corners, okay? You check it exhaust, intake, and over the heat transfer. And then whatever number is the lowest, use that as your number, okay? Because some cylinders aren't machined nice. These highways are particularly nice. OEM cylinders in Husqvarna, they are not machined very good in them. They're all over the map. That's why putting a performance piston, like the ones I was getting from Dominant, which I haven't heard from quite a while. Bill, come on, guy. You know, we need parts. These guys want to see something. Get a hold of me if you're watching this. You end up having trouble with OEM cylinders when you start getting exotic pistons in these saws. I will guarantee you have to figure that out. It's because their machining process was very poor where that squish, the land for the squish was caught on them. But the Highway seems to be a very good one. The Meteor seems to be very good. There's the 2 I recommend if you want to know the truth. And do I prefer one over the other? They each have their faults. They really do. I like the Highway cylinders the best. But I got no reason to say this. I just think that the Meteor piston may be a little better than the Highway. But until I start tossing these, I'm running them. And they're not tossing, so there you go. And so the squish on this one, we try to shoot on a 70cc saw 20 thousandths or more. Okay? And the reason you want 20 is because when you're going 233 times a minute, it is going to get rod stretch, coming to the end of the bearing on each side every time. And they'll actually stretch like 12, 14 thousandths. Then you got to have a little room for wear. So there's your other 6 to 8 thousandths, okay? Now, Can you push it further than that? Sure. It's just when you get wear, it's just gonna, you'll know, you're wrapping right along pretty good in big wood, and you'll hear this weird clattery noise. It's like a real fast ticking. That's your piston end. Bad deal, guys. 90cc saws. I like to see 25, 26 thousandths personally, okay? I have run them down to 22 before. And so far, knock on wood, I haven't had any trouble. But this one come in at a solid 18. Yeah, like 17 and a half thousandths. And I checked it multiple times. Colin sitting here, gee, Dad, he says, that's a little tight in it.
A little close.
A little close. Am I going to run it? Yeah, because I forgot to tell you. There's things I can't tell you because I don't even think a thing about it, and this is one of them. Your engine assembly silicone leaves, you want that as thin as possible. Trust me. It leaves the film 2 to 3 thousandths thick. We're going to bang, slap right on 20 thousandths. So that's a good job. I want to talk to you guys about something if you're interested, and I want it in the end of the video instead of the beginning. I've done so much of this port work that I could probably do it with a chisel and a screwdriver if I needed to, in a lot of cases. And we use the lowly Dremel because everyone you can afford it. CCC Specialties makes the best porting tools there is out there. I'll promise you that. Do I have them? No. Kenzie does. I have the older versions from another company in Europe. Okay. But they don't work anymore now. They did last year, but now they're done. So, that being said, what's it like the first time you port? I was just talking to my son, Cullen. I says, Cullen, would you be willing to take a cylinder and let's get this on video of you getting your numbers, figuring out where you wanted to go. I'll explain the characteristics on video of how this, what you're doing affects the performance of your saw. This is what I want to do. And I would like to have, now this ain't a dad beating Cullen up thing. This ain't what this is going to be. He's looking at me like, yeah, okay, I see where this is going. And what this truly is, the first time you port, what do you run into? I forgot. I don't have troubles. I already know what the tool's going to do. I know direction, rotation, blah, blah, blah. And how much feed I can feed it, how to make it smooth. But I think I can help some of you out by him never doing this before. He's never done it. Letting him get in there and make them mistakes to happen so you can see when you do this, this is what happens. Now, I want to try to put that together in such a way that you actually see how to correct these problems and make them go away. And walk Cullen through these processes so that as he's gaining some more knowledge, you are too. You know what's going to happen if you've never done it before.
Call it the virtual reality porting experience.
It's just exactly what it'd be. Yeah. Virtual reality porting experience. You know, I think that would help these guys. This just don't want to try it. It's going to be about choice of tooling, what happens when you use the wrong tool, run it how to figure your RPMs. Why some tools you need a much higher RPM than others, and how to know that. You'll get where you'll just pick it up and you kind of know what RPM you want to run that at. No, it's not guesswork.
Cold coffee, you love it.
No, I like this cup. This cup, I got last year at Buckenstock. Yes, I did. And had it ever since. Won't get another one this year. Maybe next year. We got some neat things coming up. You already know that I built saws for Buck and Billy, and I use him as a guinea pig.
Who?
Buck and Billy Smith.
Whoa.
That crazy tree guy. Him and his son Hogan. I love you guys. For 1 year, and it's been 1 year now, I've been putting saws together for them. A little longer than that, but actually getting serious with this channel. And what I knew I was trying to get any kind of numbers. I knew not a one could blow up, not one. And we haven't lost any. Okay. So I've been conservative with bucking saws.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I've been conservative. Bang! Rules just changed.
Year 2.
We're going to start building real saws for bucking and hogan. All right? You thought you seen it all on his channel. You didn't. What you seen is entry level. Okay? Anything that's in bucking saws, you could do your first shot out. Now, some of this that I got in my mind to build him, once we get a few more of these saws out of my hair, and I've still got a few saws of his to build, probably in August. It might be July. Let's just see how it works out. We're going to start putting some serious saws in Bucking and Hogan's hands. Okay? So, you already know he's been a big help to this channel. My goal when I started this June 23rd last year was, okay, I want to see if I can get 8,000 subscribers. We got over 12. We did it. Thanks, guys. It means a lot. You want to see how mufflers are built? We're going to show you. You want to see how this intake and exhaust timing works? When Colin's porting, he's figuring his numbers, you're going to learn it right here. Something was asked about, well, whatever happened to Buck and Billy's muffler design project? It's going on this saw. It's built. I'm not going to show you yet. I just want you to know that it exists. That's all. I want it to be on his channel first. I got a reason for that. It was Buckin's complete idea.
It's his idea from the ground up.
I thought about it. It's like, wow, that's crazy, crazy.
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah,
you want me to do what?
And then I was like, well, how do you do that?
Oh,
he
God.
says, can you do this, Iron Horse? And I says, yeah. I says, it's not easy, but I can do it. And there was a little hint a little while ago about how to bend pipe in a smaller radius than a bender can do. And keep it round, you remember that? Heat and sand, that deal. There's a hint. And you're going to see it. But because of his muffler pulls so freaking hard that he designed all on his own. I didn't have anything to do with it. I'm the builder guy. This was Buckins. I want to give credit where credit was due. I was like, wow. So we can get air out. I want 390 carb on this saw. What a perfect opportunity. You know, some things are like, it's like karma, this saw is. Here's why. This is the only one that I've had come back with a plating problem. I don't have saws come back generally. I expect that to happen. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, that's life. New car manufacturers get recalls all the time, don't they? They get problems developed. Thank God. I'm just a man.
They're working with new cars, by the way. He's not working with new saws.
Okay. I got to cut this short. It looks like I just ran out of video time. Hopefully this works. But you've seen it here. First, goodbye.